Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Fallen London. We are hopefully near the end and finding out what is going on in this exceptional story. I've been told that I should check out the library, but since I'm here I'm going to speak to the athletic deviless first, the person who've been told I've been playing both sides. So I think we've done all of this, so confront her with your suspicions. You suspect that she could dance to inflict pain on observers. This will gain you more evidence to solve the mystery and does not represent a final accusation. It will also advance the tournament to the next innings. Pain, says the athletic deviless, and pleasure and wonder and anything a language might express. Dance is a language. We devils are indeed fluent. You demonstrate a dance, and then you know how the tongue is a muscle, how muscles are tongues, how skill in the ballroom applies to the cricket field too. These are things she tells you through the dance. Perspiration beads her brow. She dabs it with a handkerchief. It's useful to learn new vocabulary, especially the bad words, broken words. Rebellion is saying what you're not meant to. The whistle blows from the field. Run along, says. Dance for Benthic. Law 12-9-43. A match is concluded if, without a conclusion having been reached under 12-9-42, the players leave the field under adverse conditions, including glimfall, excessive lacquer, revolutionary interference, weasels, or an insufficient wine supply. We've run out of wine. Cancel the cricket. A toast. Rather hot, isn't it? Asked Mr. Wines. Another bottle before the last innings starts. Rather hot? Yes, your wine is flavoured with sweat. Little beads trickling down your nose. The Summerset gentlemen mop their foreheads. The Benthic 11 are fanning themselves. When you look across the field, the air ripples. You see players who aren't there. You hear bats crack against balls that weren't thrown. No, the players are there now. The balls are being thrown. The vintage, mumbles Mr. Wines, scrutinising a bottle. Must be exceptionally good. Should we be playing fiendishly? Now I know that the devil has something to do with this, but yeah, sure, why not? Whoever catches that ball will burn their fingers to a crisp. That's if it doesn't land and smash a crater into the ground first. Every player adds their own mark to the game, but you've added an exclamation point. By the time the Summerset gentlemen return, the ball, your jaunt down the pitch will have contributed a few underlines too. Ah, here we go. Step away for some spy work. Let's have a quick look at the university library. Ah, here we go. We required the rose taketh. Cross-reference celestial with infernal lore. One book, open next to another, you begin to see patterns emerge. Translation. As you compare the laws, they switch, like partners in a dance. You follow the steps. A law is a sequence of words, and words are simply meanings translated. By lines on a page, by sounds in a mouth, by movements across a ballroom, or a cricket field. Correspondence blazes in your brain. You perceive laws not as words, but actions. When you shove the books aside, that is a law. When you grip your splitting skull, that is a law. When shadows dissolve in sunlight, when the guilty must confess, that is a law. You stagger away, and that, too, is a law. I wonder if there's anything in the distracted cricketer. Oh. No furniture remains. Everything has been confiscated. At this very moment, constables are still peeling the wallpaper, searching for secret crannies. A familiar face blocks your way. Speak with the constable. Looking for someone? Stonewalled. It may interest you to know that a certain cricketer recently left the Royal Bethlehem. It may also interest you to know she came here to destroy evidence. You wouldn't know about that, would you? Constable's hand, you detect, is bandaged. A Blemmigan, he explains. We found one on the premises. It has now been restored to the marshes, just as the cricketer will eventually be restored to her proper place. We at Concord Square always restore things to order. Always. Oh well, I guess she doesn't have anything new to say then. Yeah, I guess we'll carry on playing cricket. Consider what we know. Do we have anything new here? The Athletic Deviless. Suspicions and more suspicions. Devils can express potent messages through dance. This entire time, the Athletic Deviless has been speaking another language with gesture and pose. He has taught the Benthic 11 to speak it too. Now that you recognise its pattern, you might identify it better in people's movements. So, in a few restricted books. That was the hint to go to the library, wasn't it? Wonderful. So we finished that innings. I guess we speak to the Benthic captain, maybe? Oh. Is it time for me to just make my accusation? Let me quickly just go through all of these. I feel like I haven't read this bit, so I'm going to read it here. I could just have a terrible memory, but I was speaking to the Benthic 11's captain and I asked about the Athletic Deviless. Strictly business. We met 2 seasons ago when the Benthic 11 faced the Brass Embassy ladies. They beat us that time, the canny devils. He was team captain. I knew it would be worthwhile to pursue her intimacy, so I did. He laughs when he hears himself. Not that kind, as is a strict business relationship. Everyone says you can't do business with devils, and you are the business with them. That's nonsense, of course. He doesn't train that team for free. I had to pay. But she hasn't eloped with the funds, so to speak. She's still here, true to her word. Can we speak to the Summerset captain about the Deviless? I think we already have. Huh, his nostrils flare. This is how bulls look before they charge. You knew the lawyers had a way with rhetoric. His mastery of the invective would earn the Summerset captain a place on the grimmest tramp steamer. He pauses to collect himself. Came to me too, in her wheedling way, all smiles and brightness, as though I couldn't see through her facade. Society has principles. That's what separates Summerset from Benthic. Can't fall to their level. I can't fall to his level. It would mean that all this, he says, gesturing towards the university itself, is also a facade. He pauses again, having heard his own words, and then loses himself in his thoughts. I guess we just make our accusation. I mean, I am tempted to... I mean, the problem is, who do we blame for actually hurting the distracted cricketer? Because the captain knew what was going on. I think the only person who is kind of blameless is the Summerset captain, because he just wanted to get the soul back for the Benthic captain. Accuse everyone. Yes, even the Benthic captain's bat. Oh man. Everyone's to blame, all of you, every single one of you. Kind of technically true, I suppose. Let's go through the things. It would appear the Benthic captain is playing a greater game than cricket. He speaks the language of spies, and you've glimpsed coordinates tattooed under his bat's wing. From a lofty vantage, you can chart how those coordinates map across the city, which was the bell tower. And we could track things over. It would seem that pressure has been applied to the Summerset captain regarding the state of the Benthic captain's soul, in order that interested parties might gain access to restricted legal documents. Now you've gained access too. Documents are annotated to facilitate encryption by mechanisms in a certain laboratory. And we have already read this, but I'll read it again just to complete the theme. Devils can express potent messages through dance. This entire time, the athletic deviless has been speaking another language with gesture and pose. She has taught the Benthic 11 to speak it too. Now that you recognize its pattern, you might identify it better in people's movements, and also in a few restricted books. I do kind of feel like they're all to blame. An innocent man does not communicate through codes and tattoos and graffiti. Someone who knows the law, how to wield, break and invade it, she is a deviless from hell. Are they ever not guilty? Oh, the athletic deviless is like my favourite character out of this entire story. This is the problem I'm facing right now, because she's obviously the one to blame. Because she was the one infusing... Well, to me, she's the obvious one. Might not be true. But she was the one infusing the cricket match with, well, the correspondence, I suppose. But then, there's a bigger game going on. The Benthic captain may have got rid of the distracted cricketer in order to make it, like, all of the loose ends disappear. So... But then he wants me to play the game so that his master plan carry on. Master's plan? No, because he works for someone else, doesn't he? Oh no, there's too much information. Let's just accuse one of them. The only one who I think is innocent is the Summerset captain, which probably means he's the one who had the worst. Like, he's also to blame because he gave them access to the books. I don't want to accuse everyone. I'm going to accuse everyone. Ah, guilty. Mordecai is my courier, the Benthic captain says, petting his bat. But you're quite right. We each had a role in this operation. My faithful rival from Somerset provided the law to compel confession, and my lovely associate from the Brass Embassy translated its sigils into cricketing techniques. It was my idea, of course, to target Mr. Wines during the tournament. We never intended to hurt any players, the Somerset captain explains. But correspondence burns, says the athletic deviless. Do you realise what crimes this master must have committed? Asked the Benthic captain. The confession would change the world. It's in your hands. Complete the ritual. That's kind of what I was thinking. That they all had a role to play. Man, have I got to finish this? Law 15.1.1. A master of the bazaar may declare an innings closed at any time. Take up your bat one last time. Everyone is watching. The crowd, the other cricketers, and especially Mr. Wines. Everything burns as you step onto the pitch. The bat in your hands, the dust in your eyes, the glare from Mr. Wines staring across the field. Your ears ring with cheers from the crowd. Benthic forever! Somerset forever! Until you can't hear anything. Only the white noise in your own beating heart. Constables surround the field. They get here. They're watching too. The Benthic captain's bat is perched atop his head. The athletic deviless leans beside the pavilion. The Somerset captain will bowl. He takes the ball. Takes position. Throws the ball. The fourth stroke. A stroke is a blow delivered by a cricket bat. You see the ball, a point in space, punctuation. All things are aligned. This is the dance's last step. This strike will enact the law. Language has been written throughout the game. I fear I'm supposed to hit the ball in order for their plan to consist. I don't actually know though. Am I supposed to miss it? Or... It says a blow delivered by a cricket bat, so that makes me think I have to hit it. I don't want to see what's going to happen, not going to lie. I think we're going to strike false. Oh dear. Impact. You hear the wicket pop behind you. Stumps topple. Bales tumble. And you tumble too. Your bones are tugged towards the impact. Moments meld in a heat from titanic pressure. A heat from being squeezed, compressed by a fist whose fingers are stars. Constables, cricketers, scatter without scattering. The third innings, the second, first, flip past you like cascading pages. You see through everything. See through yesterday. You see the distracted cricketer, her irises ringed by fire as a wicket pops during the practice match. She points at you. She screams. And she cascades away along the entire universe. Oh dear, is that why the cricketer lost her mind? Because she also... Oh dear. Oh, this isn't good, is it? The law is the dance, is the game. Where once spectators raved, there is silence. Where once cricketers ran, there are sigils. Where once there was London, there is law. A law. We were alone with Mr. Wine, whose hooded bulk sits at the table. Confess, this is the law. Pronounce the law. Oh dear. Mr. Wines opens its mouth. We have no choice. A wind, deeper than the deepest space, blows through its jaws. You compel us to speak. Correspondence towers around you. An inferno blisters existence that turns time to ash. We will pour the past into your glass. We will drink old memories. Its voice breaks your brain, carving gashes where it can splash language that burns like alcohol. You burn, you listen, you learn. Its breath is a void, its speech, kingdom. We will confess our glory. Best, let the record state that every word we speak is true, that our testimony net the sky. We will pry the marvels down that sparkle in our realm, and set them into speech. We will hang new constellations in your memory. A wonder splendorous, our ways were the ways that course between the stars. A revel. 40 years revolved in our royal orbit. An abundance gleaming in gold. There was no wealth that we could not exchange. I'm gonna have to go for the wonder. Hopefully I can listen to all three of these. The high wilderness. Chart our kingdom's borders. Draw a circle from the first star to the last. Planets crash and splinter in the words as you listen. Then draw a circle back again. Confetti falls, each speck a galaxy. You are dewy with mornings, dawn over 1,000 horizons. Trade winds roar through stellar ports, through sinews in your flesh. Creation, destruction, behold. You behold how majesty is made. 40 years revolved in our royal orbit, a revel. And all about the high wilderness, this is getting interesting. Revolve and revolve. All things were light, love. All things are light and love. Now pour the wine. It pours into 1,000 yawning mouths, across 1,000 horizons. Let our subjects revel. Dignitaries pass you, drifting through their speech, their skin stardust, their lips red with red wine. Bubbles rise from champagne seas, things with wings and things with diamond eyes, and things with tongues longer than time, present themselves to kiss your hand. They eat moonbeams, they drink daylight, they dance. We revelled forever, and this is ours. Dear, this is very interesting, isn't it? An abundance gleaming and gold. There was no wealth that we could not exchange. Treasure beyond calculus. We could point, we could say, bring it here, and it was done. Mountains uprooted, poles reversed, continents plucked, and civilizations displaced. You can hear tectonic plates break each syllable, and you can hear great beasts of burden wail beneath the weights of their transport. You can hear gold actually glitter. We sat amongst the stars, we entertained traders from distant suns, we opened gates, we brokered fates, we counted cities in our palm like coins, and ours were the sceptre, the crown. We held it, and we held it, the power to ennoble souls. We could raise our sceptre and raise up the basest slave to the highest treyarch. Entire peoples grovel at a throne whose seat is a sunrise. Lords with flashing eyes, ladies with floating hair, knights kneeling to pledge endless fealty. You count them in your mind's eye as their numbers are announced, and numbers lose meaning. They stretched from yesterday to tomorrow. They queued across the aurora to beg our audience. We gave our word that we would make them gods. They gave us everything, and we were toasted. And then a crown. Beloved, we wore it, and we were adored. Love, love, love. Beauty, passion, more beauty. We were surrounded by beauty. Our favourites we gave asteroids. We draped their throats with jewels that waxed and waned. When comets blazed, we snipped their scarlet tails to fashion garters brighter than brightness itself. We promised we would love them forever. We gave our word. We gave them wine. They gave us everything. We drank deep. A word broken. We spoke the truth. We speak only the truth. Give our word. Include the confession. Failure and defeat. They gave us everything. And we... Mr. Wines sobs. There's a sob that wrenches every lie apart. The calls a cosmic monarch recount. Hordes swindled, deceived, rise around the merchant king who gave a word that meant less than nothing. Armies, legions, defrauded. Starlight blades and sunlight shields, and vengeance as red as the final twilight. We gave our word, we gave our word. Its crown freezes, its sceptre crystallizes, and with celestial ice. Its wings enfold its body as it plummets, dead stars cast into a darkness where love atrophies. Where it shrinks and shrinks until it sits before you, trembling. Mr. Wines, just Mr. Wines at the toasting table, fumbling for a bottle, drown of the memories. We fell from king to beggar. And the bell tower booms. Bats flock overhead. There are bats overhead. And there's the bell tower. And there's the Summerset captain facing you across the pitch. Just thrown the ball. Listen to the bell. Its sound is a pattern that echoes a prayer, whose words are a plea to forget. Joshua's blessing. No prayer needs to be spoken. Not when the bats are writing one across the sky. Funny thing, I could have sworn. Didn't you see on the field? I don't think so. Must be the wine. We drank how much? My head. Oh, my poor head. Spectators rub their temples. Even Mr. Wines is leaning on a constable, stumbling away with a bottle still clutched in one claw. Nobody mentions the Irigo gleam as the bell as it swings. Boom, boom. In the tower. That's the game. An umpire bellows. Who won the match anyway? Constables blockade the toasting table. You know an event is a rousing success when the coppers arrive to stop it. One steps forward to address the crowd. Mr. Wines begs pardon for retiring. An untimely headache, he says, glancing at you. Instead, it will be Concord Square's honour to reward the champions of this year's match. Well, Benthic College won. It was teamwork, says the Benthic captain. It was all teamwork. Benthic forever. The Benthic captain graciously accepts a bottle big enough for an urchin to bathe in. It even has a scarlet stocking tied for a ribbon. Lovely. You deserve this, he says, when the celebration is well underway and nobody's listening. His bat sniffs at the stocking and sneezes. I had to pick you for the team, don't you see? Things had to happen this way. Vienna will remember what you've done today. He holds out his hand to shake yours. A bottle of Morales and a pair of scarlet stockings of dubious origin. Oh dear. What to do with the word broken? What you've heard still burns, but you alone have heard it. With your various associates, if that's what you could call them, wait to receive the confession you carry. Now when the shadows are long on the lawn, and the wickets have fallen, the cricket has gone, and the coppers are busy tut-tutting the last drunken stoats, it's time to choose who will have it. This is a very important question. From the very beginning, I said I was going to side with the masters and the constables because I don't know. Seems like the interesting choice. But here we can give it to the constables, the Benthic captain, the athletic devils, or we can keep it for ourselves. Give it to the constables. You are a Londoner. You have a duty. Give it to the Benthic captain. Imagine what powers we could challenge, what secrets we could learn. Give it to the athletic deviless. Fallen things belong with fallen things. Or we can keep it for yourself. What is broken cannot be unbroken. What is spoken cannot be unspoken. And what is given must be given forever. Unless you lock it away. Unless you save it for another day. Even if there is no other day. Even if it's useless in your hands. Perhaps, especially to render it useless. If we do this, we would lose connection with everyone. Here we will gain connection. I am tempted to give it to the constables because I don't really... I do like the great game though. I don't really understand it very well, so yeah, let's go with the constables. Citizen, your memory fades. You can still see the bell. A few days later, you'd almost forgotten. Was it again? When the constables knock, Mr. Wines stoops into your lodgings. Soon enough, you're sipping tea with a master of the bazaar. No alcohol for us. Our head hurts. But what happened between you and me might have done our health well. We must face who we were to better who we are. It waves a claw. A constable approaches with a bottle. No one else. Hear a word, of course, says Mr. Wines. A very expensive bottle. I don't think I've ever seen that before. One bottle of 4th City Arak, Year of the Tortoise. At last you find an obliging fellow from Tartary who can translate the faded label. For the Khan of Dreams. It smells like horse sick. Oh, lovely. Oh dear. Right. We can finish this. Oh, we have made it to the epilogue. Distracted cricketer isn't at the Royal Bethlehem. She checked out some time ago, says the manager at the front desk. She left this. Hands you a rose. Remarkable tournament, wasn't it? Would have put my penny on Benthic after all. One last signal, one last appointment. If you successfully find her, your meeting will mark this story's end. We have a 100% chance of doing it, so track her down. You find the distracted cricketer in Tyrant Gardens. Past the promenade, over the bridge, surrounded by brilliant red roses in bloom. He's reading a newspaper at a table. I knew you'd get the message. You sit together and pretend not to know each other. Nobody would guess she'd have been embroiled in anything more scandalous than a trip to the hat shop, judging by her present appearance. Granted, that brim over her eyes could hide a Rattus Faber regiment. I had to see you one last time, she says, for my own sake. We can read the newspaper? About the tournament, she says, sliding it towards you. An astonishing match. More astonishing, however, is the news from Concord Square that both captains have been implicated in the most dastardly plot. It does not surprise this editor to learn that Benthic College had its hand in the honeypot. The gentleman from Somerset? What institute in this city choked with spies remains sacred? Lock your door, dear reader. Although their scheme may be foiled, the criminals are still at large. The constables have issued an additional warrant for the devilish in white gloves, who should be considered armed and highly dangerous. You fold the paper and set it aside. Ah, journalist, always 2 steps behind. Let's speak with her. You. Of course it was you. It was you all along. Other people wouldn't understand, even people playing the great game. It sounds like madness, but there is no madness. There are just different perspectives. Sometimes they're hard, sometimes they're very hard. Nothing prepared me, she says. You can't explain it to anyone else. You have to live it, like we did. I thought I'd be an agent. I thought I'd fight for a cause. But I'm not who I was. I'll never be the same again. And do you know what? It's alright. I'm still me. In the greatest game we're playing, there's no score. But if one were to tally insights, one would have to proclaim your associate the most deceptive cricketer. Now, we bid her farewell. She settles back to read her newspaper, but not before clipping 2 eye holes in it. Oh dear. Players, the game. It's lovely weather for a stroll. No bats, no glimfall. Others are taking advantage as well. That couple by the fountain, exchanging a briefcase. That governess, pushing a pram. Does not have a baby inside. Everyone has their gazette. Every gazette has 2 eye holes clipped out. Secrets hang like ripe fruit in the air. You only need to pluck one and bite. You have finished this exceptional story. Thank you, delicious friend, for playing. Likewise, thank you for writing it. I've won moves in the game. I've ever seen that item before. We've forgotten how to play cricket. And that is the end of the exceptional story. That was wonderful. I loved every second of that. That was one of the most entertaining exceptional stories that I've ever played. Loved every second of it. And it explains so much about things that I don't know anything about, so it was brilliant. So, I end the episode here. It's run on a little longer than expected, but I just figured I might finish it here. So please like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Your comments are greatly appreciated, and any insights, please fire them my way. Any thoughts, let me know what you thought about it, and I will reply and we can have a chat. But as always, I'll see you next time.